What's up, you podcast addicts? Welcome to the Failsafe Weekly Podcast. Joining me, my co-host, Eric Konetzny, AKA Konasty FPV, and Steele Davis, AKA Mr Steele. I'll be your host here, Ruben Jauregui. And I hope you have some clean chonies on. It's gonna be a gnarly ride. Now, let's get on with the show.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Like, yeah.
Just
Fucking
Pussy everywhere.
damn it, now I'm gonna have this goddamn thing closer so we can fucking press the buttons now. Or not I'll press the buttons.
Just, yeah.
Alright, what's up? So, now we're back. Still, you're landed. You're fresh off the boat. Or off the plane. So I guess we could do a kind of a quick recap of what happens when you land and you get home. Do you just dive into bed and just say fuck it and just kind of soak in,
Just sprawl a little.
Just die.
Just yeah. Well, I mean, it was a lot of travel, so I ended up getting on a 10-hour bus ride from northern Italy to Rome, and then spent about 4 hours in Rome, had some shitty lunch, breakfast, salad thing, and then we flew some ruins that were not supposed to be flown, ruining the hobby in all states and all countries.
Was that the one with your flip?
It didn't have a roof on it, right?
It did not have a roof on it. It was
Okay,
like
just
2000.
making
It was like, I don't know, some 2,000 years ago, some kind of aqueduct action that the Romans built, and I ripped it. Drew did not. He ripped the park right next to the thing.
I don't want to get I can't get thrown in the pokey again.
Dude, it was pretty gnarly. And then I flew that, and then we went to the airport, got to the airport. I shot a video that I released today about flying with batteries and drones and whatnot on all kinds of levels. Like, everyone always asks, like, what can you fly with? What can't you fly with?
Yeah.
What can you do? How do you do this? How do you do that? What tools can I fly with? Can I fly with a large knife? Can I have a Rambo knife in my pocket while I'm on the plane? And I kind of went over that in detail.
Have you ever gotten swabbed?
I have never been swabbed personally. I have had my batteries swabbed, but not me.
Yeah, that's actually a good topic to bring up, because even like, I'm paranoid and my packs are a lot bigger. Like, I got
you got them fatty,
I got like 3,000
prove it.
milliamps.
You know what I mean? I got like
Fucking prove it.
I got the bigger ones. So when I carry them, it exceeds the capacity, and so they check them. They don't know what to look for, but a lot of the guys, I guess we can fill them in. This would be a good spot to kind of like fill them in and be like, hey, don't travel with a fucking knife in your backpack,
Dude. You know what's funny? I think I might have told Steele this before, but I gave Tommy a knife before. Like, I was like, hey dude, if you're gonna be flying in sketchy areas, you need a pig sticker. So I was like, here you go, dude. I'm like, have this one here. And he's like, thanks, bro. And I'm like, just always keep it in your bag. And he kept it in his bag, and I remember like flying with him after he went to somewhere, I don't know, like, I think is when you guys were going to Ibiza. On the Ibiza trip, and like after that we flew when he came back, and he's like, dude, I was totally like about to go through TSA and everything, and I was like, shit, I forgot the pig sticker's in the bag. They're gonna get it for me. So he's like, I had to like go out of the line and like take it out and like run to Bridget in the car and give her the knife and everything and get back. So
dude, he's got to smuggle it in his butt.
Yeah, dude.
That's pretty savage.
But I was like, damn, that's crazy.
Oh shit!
Can't forget to take that thing out when you're going through TSA. But yeah, give us the rundown, Steele.
I don't really know the rundown. I just bring everything that I would typically bring with me to the park or wherever I'm going to go fly. So,
all right,
I mean, people are always like, you don't bring... Like, I bring everything that I bring exactly how I bring it when I go out and fly. I don't spare.
For those guys that are out there, they're out there, right? They're like the DJI fucking flying and shit when they're not supposed to. So, like, what? Don't bring a wrench in your bag. Anything metallic
It depends on
Razor
the
blade.
flights. I mean, if it's a internal, like within the continental U.S., I pretty much bring all kinds of tools and stuff as long as the actual blade part of the tool, like the screwdriver sticky part, is less than 7 inches. You can bring it.
Okay.
So, I don't
probably
know.
if you have what's the one that goes under the plane? It's not a carry-on.
The checked bag.
The check bag. That's what it is. I mean, just basically put your shit in there and you're good to go.
Yeah, you just want to make sure you carry on your lipos. That's the one thing that you have to carry on under TSA rule, I guess. And there is a 100 watt hour maximum limit, but it is 100 watt hours in one battery. So you could bring like 1,000 little batteries as long as they're under 1,000 watt hours. So technically, I have actually been on flights when I was traveling out on the West Coast. I went to do a shoot, like, I don't know, 2 Decembers ago, and the dude had an Alta, like, octocopter, like a huge octocopter, and it ran on like 22,000 milliamp packs, 6S, and those, I think, were just slightly under 100 watt hours, so it was a 22,000 milliamp 6S, and he had like 10 of them. So he just had 2 giant carry-on Pelican cases full of batteries, and it
My
was
friend,
like,
they're just lipos.
yeah, no, it looked like a straight up bomb, and they were
Go to the
so
side.
heavy. So yeah, he had 2 of those, just 2 huge boxes of batteries. So if he can get away with it, you can get away with like 30 or 40 little 1,300 milliamp packs. They usually just swipe them. When I go through like actual TSA, for the most part, I will pull my batteries out of my bag and have them in their own bag, and I put that in its own bin because I know it's going to get pulled every time.
Oh yeah.
So
That's what.
But I will say, when I was traveling abroad, it never got checked. I just left it in the bag, and they didn't even stop me. And I had walkie-talkies in there too, like in the battery bag. So it looked really bomb-like.
Come in.
When you hear the second blow up.
We got an alligator in the road. No.
Oh yeah.
That alligator though.
The systems. The ones that I got to bring here, because I'm going to be going to New York for the NAFPV. It's like a wing event for us guys.
Mm-hmm.
But like I got to carry 2 3,000 milliamp 6S, and because those are for series for 12S, and then I got to take like, I don't know, a couple like 5,000 milliamp 3S and some 3,700 milliamps. So, but like I just put them in like the Firelock the bags.
Mm-hmm.
Put them in the backpack, so when you get there, just open up the backpack and set them aside. That way they can check it. Just give them something to find. Like, let them do their deal, and that way they don't mess with you. But it's always nerve-wracking when you get there. Like, oh shit! Like, they're gonna check them. Yeah, they're gonna check them.
Yeah,
But yeah. So don't hide anything in your butt, okay, guys? If you're listening,
no tiny what batteries in the butt. Right?
the X-ray machine will get you.
Those tiny whoops.
Dude, what is that? Oh, it's a tiny what battery. You can't tell. It's got that profile.
I swallowed 22 of them.
You don't believe me? Put it on your tongue.
Yeah.
Check that 9 volt. Check that 9 volt, son.
All right,
So
just be careful.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just be
Traveling is not. It's not that big of a deal. I think a lot of people make a huge deal out of it, and it's really not that big of a deal. Just don't bring like sharp objects with you, and don't bring anything that's liquidy.
Yeah.
You're gonna bring like, you can't bring water or anything like that. So
yeah.
Don't worry about your lipos or your drones being like even props. Like I have props. I mean, yeah, you could use a tri-blade as a serious shanking tool, but you know, no one's shanked anybody with a tri-blade yet, so it's not banned until someone gets killed or dies or something happens. No one's gonna ban propellers.
Yeah. I mean, if you can, like, just put it underneath the plane. Put it, do that one. Do the check one, and then you're gonna get it on the way out. If you need water, just buy it once you get past it, because they sell water, or just fucking be a camel and just kind of be good.
Sell water for like $12 though.
Yeah.
No, they got water fountains, man.
Well,
this ain't the third world country. You
Well,
don't
just
have
keep
to throw like a tablet.
Yeah, if you
And
keep
that's
drinking
why you
water
have a bump
and shit.
on your lip.
No idea what you're talking about.
He doesn't really have a bump on his lip.
We're just kidding.
I'm just being
Listeners are like, ooh.
Yeah, Steele's next like 4 videos, everybody's like zooming in, like enhance. Enhance.
No, but like
Trying to find that boogly bump on Steele's lip under the mustache.
it's hiding. But like you still get guys who like were in front of you and they got like the fucking shampoo bottle or the whatever, like it exceeds and you're like, fuck dude, you're slowing up the line. Just
3 ounces, yeah.
So when you travel, Steele was traveling and then I gotta travel here the 20th, the 19th, 20th, and I'll be gone for a while. But like even like I had to change a fucking plane ticket, and that's nerve wracking for me because I'm like, fuck, they're gonna fuck up my shit. But it was actually actually
traveling is just such a stressful thing. Like in general, the smoother you can make it for yourself and the TSA and all that stuff, it's just better.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, traveling's just stressful.
I don't find it stressful. I do it a lot though.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
I'm just saying,
for us rookies,
I used to travel all the time, a lot for my job, and I always noticed like just the easier I made it on myself, it just seemed overall like it was just an easier deal. I don't mind being on planes. I don't mind any of that stuff. Like all that's actually relaxing to me. Like I look forward sometimes to being on the plane because I'm like that's like a reality timeout. Like
Air mode.
see you guys, and
Fucking prove it.
Yeah.
But yeah, totally. Like,
I mean, the easier you can make it, the more like less stress free, then the better. So all this stuff is definitely good advice for like the person that's gonna first travel with lipos and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. That video you did was really good. Hopefully it helps a lot of people out.
Yeah.
Did you get a lot of people walking by and be like, what the fuck's he doing?
I had a lot of people staring at me. They were all Italian, so they were basically just saying, "It's me, Mario," behind me.
Oh, were they?
No, I mean they were speaking Italian, but it's
if they
fucking
really were,
obnoxious.
I'm like, dude, that's epic. Like, this fucking savages over there.
I know that's like very racist in a way, I guess, but it's very much like Italian is a crazy language. Like it essentially just sounds like a bunch of O's and A's were added onto the end of everything.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. It's like Spanish with O's and A's.
Huh. Yeah, that'd be interesting. That's a. I mean, like I haven't been over there. I've only been a few places. I ain't been that far.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to do something semi like I know a lot of people were asking. I get asked this stuff all the time, but
hold
I have
on,
a buddy.
Is this a transition? Is this a transition? Hold on.
Broham, it's time we take this handshake to the next level.
That worked.
Dang, that balloon shop explosion. So,
All right.
I have a buddy named Pete that is trying to get into FPV. He's my neighbor, and he is like fresh off the boat, has never seen a mini quad before.
Oh man!
And now all of a sudden he's getting into mini quad stuff, and it's like, all right, what do you do? How do you teach this person all this stuff? So what I had him do, because he was asking me all kinds of obnoxious questions, like stuff that just doesn't even relate to mini quads. It relates to just like how electricity works, and it would just turn into like, wait, so this motor uses alternating current, and then it would turn into some fucking gnarly groundhog hunt of death where it like ends up where we're talking about GE's turbines or some crap like that. And so I had him write down all these questions that he had about mini quads, and I figured we could go through some of them and kind of just...
You're like his sensei, bro.
It's weird. It's like...
Steele gets home, he comes over, and he's like, Steele, why do you keep having me paint your bathroom? You're like...
Dude.
Wash the floor, Steele. I keep washing the floor. What?
One day you will learn.
Little grasshopper, one day, little grasshopper.
But yeah, I mean, he's super gung-ho about it, and I just wanted to kind of give you... I mean, even now, it's been like a week since he's written these questions down, and I guarantee you he's answered probably a third of these questions just watching videos. He's like super psyched on just watching videos. He's just on YouTube every day watching crap. So let's see.
I hope he's watching my videos.
Do what?
I said, I
hope
hope
he's watching your
my
videos? Oh, he is. He's been stoked on Joshua Bardwell for some reason. I don't know where. I think he just like he does so many like tutorial videos, it's like really easy for people to learn. So I wouldn't have assumed that. But yeah, I mean, Joshua Bardwell's videos appeal to a lot of people that are getting into it.
He straight up
went to my channel and saw me lose my quad up on a hill, and he was like, that's what you don't do?
Bye. Yeah.
Dude, that thing's just marinating up on that hill still. I haven't even looked for it.
Marinating hard. You're going to find that
rusty,
GoPro,
bro.
and it's going to be super crusty. It's basically going to be
It's
white
crusty,
dust.
rusty. Dude, it is. It's like, it's got a sweet GoPro tan right now.
Jesus. Hold on,
All
wait.
right.
Have you ever seen a black GoPro turn white?
All right, let me read this question right here, and I'll kind of get your guys' opinion on it. I mean, I know getting into wings is a little bit differently, Ruben, but it's a little bit different. But I think it'll kind of correlate as well. So he says, I've never flown anything RC, but I would love to get into RC or into racing drones. I watched some videos on mini quads and gather they are a good way to learn. Do you feel like I should buy an Inductrix or a Tiny Whoop to get started? And he said, like, these are his little bullet points. Basically, should I get a simulator? I tried the DRL sim, and according to me, as in Steele, it is like 60-70% accurate to the real life, and it's a free way to learn. Or should he go and try to like buy like a real flight simulator or something and try to fly like fixed wing stuff? Because fixed wing stuff has a little bit more of an appeal as far as when simulators come into hand. Like when people fly fixed wing, they typically will learn and practice on sims because it's very realistic. Like where when you look at a DRL or some kind of simulator based off of mini quad stuff, they're basically making it to where it's appealing to a video game audience, and it doesn't necessarily have to be very realistic feeling as long as it has similar characteristics to how these things fly. So,
I find
with
those
that being
not to be
said,
very, very similar to flying at all. I
Yeah,
haven't found
so-
one I've ever liked. Actually, I take that back. There's a new one I tried. It's from, I don't know if it's from TBS, but I know they have something to do with it because TBS is in it. It's called
Velocidrone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's similar. It's not 100%, but that one's the closest I've noticed out of the box to be pretty good. So I don't know who develops that one though.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of drone subs out there that are actually like they don't fly well out of the box as far as the realistic, but like Hot Props is a great example. Hot Props flies like balls when you get it, but you can tune it to make it fly fairly similar to a real quad. But the one thing that all sims lack is the ability to use the mass of the aircraft to be like to throw the thing through the air.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, like when you're flying a big wing, Ruben, like the big wing flies a little bit differently than a small wing because it has more mass to it and it kind of glides forever, right?
Yeah, it has more wing area, so it's a lot more forgiving than
So it has
than
like a lower, slower stall speed and like
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that come into play. And mainly your wing area. So it's like a parachute. I mean, the bigger it is, the more nice and easy it is going to fly. But like, does he want to do a sim or a real RC? Is he on the fence on that?
No, he wants to get into drones, but he was wondering what would be a nice way to get into RC in general. Because from talking to me, I told him, like, look, if you're going to learn anything RC, FPV is a great way to learn it quickly, but at the same time, you're going to limit yourself as far as what you can do with radio control because you're basing it off of a first-person view scenario. So if you're going to learn anything remote controlled, you're going to have to learn how to do third-person orientation of the aircraft.
I would say look at, because it's an all-in-one, and I think it's fairly cheap still, but look at a the UMX Cub or the Champ.
Yeah.
I mean, because it came with a remote. That's what I learned on. It came the UMX the Champ. It's a yellow or orange little. It's a little.
Dang,
Cub.
promoting them Spectrum products on this.
The thing is it was so cheap. Well, it was a good price, and it was super light. So when you did crash, it wasn't like a big deal, and you can fly it, in a small area.
Yeah.
And then you can practice. And like, if I can think like on the market right now, like they're a lot like a wing or another, like a trainer. They're a lot bigger, and there's a lot more components. This would be like an all-in-one. Like everything is inside on the board. It's super.
everything is not complicated. Like, it's already bound, and so we can get familiar with the rudder.
Wings are kind of intimidating to start with too, because launching a wing is very nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I wanted. My first FPV aircraft, I wanted a Zephyr 2, and I wanted to rip that thing down, all kinds of stuff, trappy status.
Yeah.
And I actually bought a Zephyr 2 from a dude in Australia, and it was like fully done out, and I was like psyched on it, and I paid like $1,000 for it. I had this dude ship it from Australia, and I ended up getting it, and all this jack stuff was like all rusted out and stuff. I think I told this on another story, but anyways, like, I was just intimidated on launching it because I'd never done it, and there's like multiple ways to launch it. Everyone's like, oh no, you gotta hold it from the side of the wing, you gotta huck it sideways, and the other guys are like, no, you gotta hold it by the nose and you gotta throw it over your head. And I ended up like finding that I like throwing it over my head, but if you don't have a powerful enough motor, then you end up just and it like stalls and fucking flops on you. So
like when we went to the we went to Las Vegas for like the drone national tour paradise thing over there a while ago. A guy had a Zephyr, right? And so I was already well versed in what it can do and like technique and style and stuff like that. And so I was like, okay, I got a guy who knows how to fly. I know how to fly. I know how to launch. And it was a Zephyr 2. Yeah. Or you can get an EB that auto launches or auto crashes. But we did a takeoff, and I was like, okay, well, if it, he's got full open, and I tossed it because it should fly, right? It's under power, it has momentum, but it could not get off the ground, and it's because the way it was designed, it's just it needed to fly faster to create lift, and it was going way too slow. It stalled, and it just wasn't a good event. So the guys that are looking for like a high end type shit, just bring yourself back a little bit, and play in the kiddie pool for a little bit, and get your bearings. Don't get Top Gun type shit. Just baby it back a little bit, and because this is what's going to happen. Like, you want to learn all the steps now, because when you get up there to the like expensive stuff, like what we're looking at now, that is,
$25,000 to a splat.
Yeah, and you want to know all the characteristics of a cheaper platform, and when you make your way through the ranks, we'll say, you know what airframe is going to do, and you know how to like counteract what's going to happen. But there's a lot of stuff out there, and what we were looking at, I don't know if we could talk about it, right? We could talk about the EV.
So, well, I was gonna say, like, this is sounding very opposite of what I would say to someone getting into mini quads versus someone getting into fixed wing, and I completely agree with the fixed wing action, because with fixed wing you buy a cheap, and I'll tell you the main difference and why this is, but if you buy a fixed wing, I would say get a cheap fixed wing first and learn on something cheap.
Yep.
And then if I was saying if you're buying a mini quad, I wouldn't recommend getting something cheap. And the reasoning behind why you would get something cheap for a fixed wing versus not getting something cheap for mini quad stuff is fixed wing stuff crashes and it breaks. Mini quad stuff crashes and it doesn't usually break. So I don't know why you're showing this, because no one can see it. And it's just retarded. Like, why is that even?
I'm about to post this on the Team Failsafe Instagram, because it's like a failsafe. It's going to explode.
What we'll do? I'll spam it, and then I'll put it on my channel so you guys can see what we're talking about. But I can kind of put myself in the same shoes where me being a well-versed person in the fixed wing, in the wings. I go to you guys, and I was like, I showed you, remember that, was it like a Dia something? And I was like, is this a good wing? And it was like 260 or 2 something?
Good quad.
And I was like, would this be something to get? And you guys were like, no, don't. You were like,
we weren't trying to bash it. We just wanted, it's like what Steele says, like, You want to buy the good stuff when you're getting into the mini quads, like, for sure. Like, save yourself the money and time, and
Well, the reasoning is like I was saying a second ago with the fixed wing stuff. You flying fixed wing stuff, it crashes and it's hard. It's like it just explodes, right? These wings, like when they hit the ground the wrong way, or these any kind of fixed wing stuff, when it hits the ground, it usually breaks.
Some wings, not mine though.
Hold on, but I will say that you're gonna probably strip a servo, or you're gonna break an elevon at some point in time. But the thing with fixed wing is if it flies crappy, then you get good at it, right?
Yeah.
And you like get better at it. And so when you get to something that flies really well, then it usually is like, holy shit, like this is flying really, really well. Yeah. But with wings and fixed wing, there is one thing that you don't have to worry about with a mini quad that you do have to worry about with wings, and that is a stall. And stalls do not happen on quadcopters unless you intentionally turn the motors off.
Yeah.
So with a wing or any kind of thing, wings are very susceptible to stalling. And I actually crashed this dude's 25-year-old glider in France because it stalled on me and I didn't know what to do. It was a 3-channel glider. It was a powered glider, and it had a rudder and elevator. And for some reason in my mind, I equated that rudder and elevator were on the right stick, and that throttle was the only thing on the left stick.
Oh.
So I'm like constantly trying to turn with the aileron, which had nothing there.
Woo.
So I'm like, like pulling back on the elevator, and I'm like full throttle. And this thing was super underpowered, and it was windy, and it had like the sketchiest dihedral ever. And like, I guess to get it out of us, like it was really underpowered. I was literally full throttle, just trying to keep it level. And like, I guess the tactic for getting it out of a tip stall was to counter the elevator and the rudder in opposite directions to like bring the wing back up. Yeah, I did the opposite, and it just fucking tip stalled super hard and spiraled into the ground and exploded.
How bummed was that dude?
I was way more bummed than the dude, but he
was like, "Oh, we."
No, he was not we.
Well,
and then the next day he brought me he works on the same plane. So the dude that we were staying with, his name's Eric, and he works on like 767s or some like big jet for Air Canada.
Oh shit!
And he works on the engine, the turbine engine, and they had like the compressor blades for these turbine engines. They had little tiny blade fans from like the 747 final stage of compression, and they gave me and Drew engraved little fan blades from the last compression stage of the 747 engines.
Oh, wow, that's pretty dope.
It's super dope. So the dude that I crashed his plane the next day gave me a 747 compressor blade with my name laser engraved on it. I was like, wow, thank you.
You're like,
I
I'm
crashed
so
your
sorry.
freaking 25-year-old plane that your grandpa probably built for you.
Oh, man. Well,
and,
that puts a lot of things into perspective, though. Like, because each aircraft, right, is different. And even with guys that have a lot of skill, like, you run into those situations, you're like, fuck. Like to be, like, I crashed the disco, the Parrot Disco. Know that wing?
Mm-hmm.
That super expensive wing. There was only 4. They only brought 4 to Las Vegas, right? I fucking crashed one of them. Like,
dang.
Boom!
Isn't that thing fully like GPS, autonomous, all that?
Oh yeah. Well, they gave it to me. They're like, you fly wings, and I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. But they gave it to me, and the rates were like 100%. So any little movement, it was like, doing corkscrews and just turning. Super. I was like, why did you guys give me this? It's not even tuned. Like, you fly though, right? I'm like, dude, we gotta. It's too high. It's way too high.
Dude, do you know who I am?
I got this. But because then they're like, and this is an expensive unit. It's a prototype.
Yeah.
And they're like, you can just do some stuff so we can record it. I'm like, dude, it's not set up, man. They're like, just do it anyways. And I was like, all right, fuck it. Here we go. So.
Here we go.
Here we go. So yeah, don't buy the expensive shit. Get something that you can learn on, beat it up, and then get something. Make baby steps, man. I keep telling that to the guys that come to me, and they're like, I want you to make me a wing, and I'm like, have you flown before? No, and I'm like, buy a cheap one first, man. Just practice, please practice, because you're going to be so pissed at yourself when you wreck it and you don't know how to fix it. And that learning is what you're going to need to help yourself and help other people.
You just keep flying. You just keep flying your wing in like a straight line. You're like, I don't know how to bring it back. Just keeps going.
Dude, wings are scary. Sometimes the profile gets a little out of whack as far as like shadow. You might see a profile that you think is one going one way, and you're like, no, it's going the other way.
I've been flying for a while, not as long as some guys out there, but even like if I haven't flown in a while, like if I see it out there and it's like at that time of day and I'm like, fuck, is it going away or coming at me? Like I still do that. And that stuff you just it happens. You'll get past it. So don't get discouraged. Or look at what's the Air Hog starting to make some stuff, right? Not plug in, but I'm just saying, like, their stuff is relatively cheap. I mean, you can beat that up.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say, it's a toy. That's how I started.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not familiar with the Air Hog. It's a wing, a flying wing?
No, they have a what I got was it was a VTOL before, what we're seeing now. It was like the version whatever. And it took off, and you can do it, and then you hit a little switch, and then they go forward, and you're like, oh fuck! Like, it wasn't super fast, but I learned that the nose, if it's coming at you, you got to reverse everything.
Yep.
And it was so cheap. It was funny because I was a grown.
I know what you're talking about. I think one of the little kid that we like hung out with in California on one of the Rotor Ride episodes actually had that VTOL thing. Was it like super small? Like
it's probably like
tiny.
And it was super lightweight. But don't get discouraged if you're a grown ass man flying on the Air Hog in a park.
And then a dog runs up and is like, and fucking annihilates it.
You just got to do it. You just have to do it, and you will be so much more happier, that you beat that up instead of buying something expensive. But it's a learning.
I think so with fixed wing. I think it's the exact opposite of mini quads, and why I say that is with mini quads, like, so with a fixed wing, and I'm just going to give a blatant example here. If you buy an aircraft that flies really, really well, so like a really highly tuned precision 3D aerobatics plane, and you give that to a beginner, they're probably not going to know what to do with it, mainly because it has weird stall tendencies. 3D aircraft have a weird stall, and you're all dealing with an airfoil at that point, where a mini quad doesn't have these tendencies, but you want it to fly as accurately as possible. So with fixed wing, you want something in the beginning that flies like shit, so that you can understand really terrible stall tendencies and understand how to counteract them. Where with a mini quad, you want something that flies exactly like the precision plane, because there aren't stall tendencies. And I really think that is the huge difference between mini quads and fixed wing, and why you would want to buy expensive stuff with mini quads, because you want it to fly like a simulator, and it's durable enough to where when it hits the ground, it's not going to strip a servo or tear anything up. You're just going to break propellers. So I still stand by my ground saying, hey, you need to probably spend a little bit extra to get the equipment that you would be able to grow into as far as mini quads is concerned. So, but I know we literally rambled off. That was one question. So let me go through a couple here. We'll try to get through and get.
So we got a lot of episodes we could do with these questions.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's move on. All right.
The knowledge just keeps going.
So he says, what else did he say? He wanted to know what FPV stood for. First person view, obviously. For the people that are tuned into this that don't know what FPV stands for, I don't know. Hey, welcome. This is a whole new world. Whole new world.
Your
mind's about to be blown.
So, all right. He says, this is a funny one. So obviously I need a radio. You seem to recommend the Taranis pretty heavily. Why the Taranis over Spectrum?
Oh no!
And this is just a random. This is just a random thing. It was written down.
The dicey questions. We're getting dicey.
Hey, let me warm the water a little bit. Let me go in first.
All right. So, warm the water.
So I had a DX6 back in the day. That's what I got. Now, that's it's a good remote, right? But for the
Do you fly a
price,
Spectrum? Do you fly a Taranis now?
hell yeah, oh yeah,
Damn.
oh yeah. Now, only reason being because I discovered that it had that nice port in the back, and you could put in Spectrum, Lemon, Easy UHF. You could put what other one?
Explain to them what Lemon is before you get some rookies squeezing Lemon in there.
Okay, a Lemon RX it's a brand. It's it's
an off-brand of Spectrum, basically.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So basically, the remote was extremely versatile. Now, it was a clone from JR
9303
and a Fly Sky. Remember Fly Sky?
Yeah,
Yep.
the Fly Skies.
So, it has evolved, but what I like about it the most is that the manufacturers of it are listening to us.
You talking about Spectrum or are you talking about Taranis?
No, he's talking about Taranis.
Because I know you weren't talking about Spectrum.
Spectrum's just like,
Guys, I'm trying to warm up the water.
Money, give it to me.
The water's been warmed. I'm just going to go ahead and say right now that Spectrum is contacting Schizo to try to get in contact with me for some odd reason. I don't know what they want or why the hell it's so hard for them to send me an email or a PM on some kind of platform, but Jesus, guys, come on. It's not that fucking difficult.
Yeah, which I don't understand. I'm like, all of us are so accessible with our emails and like contact information.
Yeah.
You could drop DMs on Steele all day. Why do you have to go through people to get to somebody?
I don't fucking
This
know.
is a
They
nice
think
school.
it's like
I
intimidating.
think they want to join Team Failsafe is what it is. They're like, you guys are on to something.
But but we do have to break it down though, because the guy's not going to know when he's listening, right? So
Yeah.
they can modify it. It's open source. You can.
We were talking about the Taranis, okay?
For
For people that aren't. We are talking about the Taranis. We're not talking about his DX6i or whatever he had.
No. But I evolved, right? And so the Taranis, the FR Sky, you can adjust the antenna or add an antenna. You can put the patch in the back. It's open source. You can play songs. You can upgrade the speakers and have a person, like, you can flick a switch and a song will play out of the remote. It's that badass. It has a vibrate function, which was cool. Now it's like Hall gimbals and shit.
Yeah, you got Hall sensor gimbals, yeah.
I mean, and they're listening to us.
Everybody, that's everybody's main complaint is still I hate hearing people go like, oh, well, the gimbals on the Spectrum is still like, I like those a lot better and everything. I'm like, dude, come on, like, the Hall gimbals feel so good.
It's like a Mustang owner, right? Like a Mustang and a Camaro owner. Like, it's that parting, right? You get those guys that are out there, right?
Yeah.
But
like all those Mustang like videos you see online of everybody just like eating shit like because they don't know how to drive them, and that's Spectrum. Everybody's just crashing.
Dang.
Camaro's just going down the street giving them the finger.
I do think that Horizon Hobby, aka Spectrum, has a market. I don't think their market is in FPV.
Yeah.
And they're
that.
gonna state that the latency of their radios is lower, but at the same time, when you put on a situation where you're dealing with a 5.8 transmitter blasting out our RF frequency right next to the receiver, you're gonna have a problem, just based off of the facts that I've heard through talking with many people that have dealt with Spectrum as far as the protocol is concerned, and it's just that the hardware can't really work well with RF blasting out right next to it. It doesn't have as good of a filtering effect as, like, I guess you would get through your Taranis and whatnot as far as their receivers are concerned. And to change this to make it work correctly would require changing the hardware.
And they don't want to do that.
What would happen?
Huh? No, we're still good. We're still good. Can you hear?
Yeah,
I can, but I got kind of weird for a second. Got really loud.
Yeah, that's weird. I think they're onto us, bro.
They're hacking us.
Onto us.
The DDoS attack on us.
Yeah, they just cut Steele out on the talk about Spectrum right there. They're like, okay, cut him now so nobody could hear the truth.
Dude, what's going on? Like, it's kind of funky now. I think I know what it is. I think my headphones died and I don't have noise canceling anymore, and it freaked me out.
Oh, okay. What do you got? What do you got, them Bose?
They're, the Bose Q35s.
Dang! I want to be a baller!
Dude, I don't mess around. I thought
That's
I
why he
was
makes the big bucks.
Oh yeah, all that Rotorite gold.
No, but that's true. Because I remember when I got my remote in 2012, 11. I still had brownouts. I still had fail safes.
Ruben, you're old.
No, and I will say right now that I personally had experience with Spectrum's problems even before I got into FPV, and that's why I had a grudge against it in the beginning. My first radio was a DX8, my second radio was a DX9, my third radio was a DX9 Black Edition. These radios, they were all three of my very first radios, and I had problems.
Yeah.
I had brownouts. I had literal fail-safes. I had a Radian Pro fail-safe 150 yards away in an open field and explode on the ground.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, that's when you were flying helis, so
and that was the point.
That's so expensive of a loss.
I was flying helis, and I had a couple situations where I'd be doing something flying, and I'd lose connection for a second, and it's like, what is happening?
It's a long reboot time for the Spectrum. After it loses the link, it takes forever.
Yeah, and you're just sitting there going, watching it, and it's just headed for the ground.
The FR Sky, when I got the module in the back, because I was running I had a JR remote, and so I bought the Spectrum, or not the Spectrum, god damn it, the FR Sky module in the back of the JR. I can turn the remote off and turn it back on, and it would instantly get link. And I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. So there was never an issue on a reboot, or if there was a problem, it was instantaneous link. And you also got to think about what's their type of flying for Spectrum? At a field, flying in front of them, right? Because you can't go past line of sight. They don't do FPV. That's their only spot. We're going balls to the wall type shit. We're
balls to the wall.
We're going down rivers, valleys, between trees, into buildings, into concrete buildings, and it's proven itself.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what most people don't understand when it comes to radio links is it's not always about the quickest link. I mean, you could have, say, Spectrum, they actually think about saying, hey, this is 11 milliseconds of latency versus 22 or 20 that FR Sky has. Yeah, you're getting 10 milliseconds of average latency lower, but at the same time you're kind of sacrificing the robustness of this actual the link.
Yeah.
You're taking the robustness of the link and sacrificing it for a slight bit of latency decrease.
Yeah.
And I mean, I fly with guys that fly Spectrum, and I ask them why they fly with it over a Taranis, and their excuses are usually pretty bad. I
like the way it looks.
I like the gimbals. Is usually the thing, and it's you can take those gimbals and you can put them in a Taranis, or
and have a way better link.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't like throwing these guys under the bus or anything. I just think it's funny that.
Well, there's nothing wrong. These are our personal.
In a hard shell case that I could put handcuffs on and walk around with it.
These are our personal takes, right? I mean, it's a question.
Totally,
it's
totally
a question.
Personal.
We're just answering. It's just how we roll. I've been flying. I have bought Spectrum back in the day, but now I've moved to remotes that I'm like, wow, these things are so amazing. They're very useful, versatile. If you break them, parts are readily accessible. I mean,
oh yeah, there's so many parts you could get. Aloft Hobbies has so many parts available for the Taranis if something breaks.
Yeah, and you can 3D print the back battery bay, so you can put an even bigger battery in the back.
Dang, I run that 3S freaking Lumineer battery, or I think Ready Made RC has one. It's a 2500 milliamp 3S.
Yeah,
it's pretty dope. Lasts me 4 days of solid rippage.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been running a 2200 mAh 3S.
Don't ever say mAh again.
Milliamp hours.
I got the 3000 milliamp 2S all day. I don't even
look at that mAh in there.
I don't even charge it. It just works.
Ma.
But
Yeah, I mean,
I got that thing in the
just
QX7, and it runs forever too. I switched from the old school Taranis that you have right there, and I moved into the QX7 just because I like the how do you say it? Ergonomic.
The feel of it, how flat it is.
Yeah,
well,
so
I mean, that's going back to the question.
They have stuff for everybody. Like they're coming out. Like Ruben was saying, like the good thing about them is they're listening to the community and doing what the community's asking for, which is cool.
Well, Eric, you have it. Like, it's a cheaper radio, and it's a good price. I mean,
dude, you know what? It's a cheaper
for
radio.
$100, I don't think you
I
can
threw
beat
the
it.
Hall gimbals in there. Like, I know they have Hall gimbals for that radio now, but I just modified the whatever they were.
You put the M9s,
the
into
M9s
the
into
Q7X
it.
or
Yeah,
whatever,
so
QX7.
I put those in there. I just basically beefed it up to what I wanted on there, and it's amazing. And you know what? Like, before I had the 5 dBi mod and everything, I didn't even do it on this one because the antenna that comes stock in this one has been so good with range. I mean, it's been amazing.
see, that's good to know. That's shit. Fuck. Like,
I was like, I'm not touching this thing. This thing's gold.
I mean, the Q7, like all the new Taranis, all the new FR Sky stuff is just killing it. Like they're doing a good job.
They are killing it.
And I've never been given anything from them other than those M9 gimbals that they sent me to try. And I mean, yeah, I have nothing to complain about. I got mad respect for FR Sky, even though they did copy the JR9303, which I think is one of the best radios ever designed. Just the feel of it, I just like it a lot. I don't like that new fandangled JR.
That's because you're Czech, bro. You're like, oh, they're a Czech company. I'm gonna go with
Czech.
them.
What are you talking about? This Japanese radio is JR.
I thought, JR. I thought you were talking about
Jetty.
Jetty.
No, screw Jetty. I tried. I tried to work with them, and that didn't work out. Their range was terrible for me. Like again, like all.
But
of
that's
these
a sick
companies
radio, though. Jetties are sick.
Yeah, I got a DS16 just hanging out, like whatever.
Just hanging
Oh,
out.
man.
$1,600 radio just chilling at my house.
Hey, is it for sale?
It is for sale.
How much?
I want to get rid of it. I don't know. It's got 6 receivers. It's brand new. It's a carbon edition. It's like $1,800, and the receivers are $100 a piece. I'll let that thing go for $1,000. Come pick it up today.
$1,000 OBO.
It
On
even
that
says Mr.
Craigslist.
Steve on it.
on that Craigslist.
I did put it on Craigslist. I didn't give a call. Nobody wants to call me.
No
back.
bites, bro.
No bites at all.
You should have put it. You should have put in the ad. Do you know who I am?
Go
Go
put
and
my
get it.
cell phone number and watch people put my number out there for like free TV on Craigslist or something.
That would be hella
TV.
funny though. You just meet in a parking lot with like one light. Have the
Dude,
dude-
I have done this before. I don't want to give anybody ideas, but I didn't like somebody at one point in time, and I put their number on Craigslist for a free 60-inch TV. Oh my God! Within 30 minutes, they had to like change their number. It's so stupid. But so let's continue. Let's continue. So he said,
All right.
what's why the Taranis over the Spectrum? We answered that. It says, what is a gimbal? I read the Taranis recently came out with a magnetic type gimbal, which is Taranis users say are amazeballs, which is, we're talking about the M9 gimbals, which are the Hall effect sensor gimbals, which is just essentially a really, really sensitive and precise measuring device. Instead of a potentiometer, which is basically a brush on the inside, it's a variable resistor, basically. It's
And which you
kind
could
of-
see, like if you go into like your configurator, you could see the difference. A Hall gimbal, if you go into the receiver tab, like say in whatever configurator or the KISS GUI or whatever it is,
or Betafly or whatever.
Yeah, you will see that the Hall gimbal, you don't get that bouncing around from like your endpoints or anything on the sticks. But if you do have the potentiometer in there, then you'll definitely you'll get that weird bounce, and you might have to add like some deadband to it or something.
Yeah, and the one thing that you do notice from a Hall sensor gimbal over a potentiometer gimbal, the potentiometers in general in the stock Taranis are fairly very, very cheap. That's why a lot of people went to the Aurora 9 gimbals, because you're getting a lot better potentiometers, so it was a little more precise, and it also was more robust. So with the Taranis, after about 6 months of flying a stock Taranis gimbal, you're going to notice that the centering on probably your roll stick is going to be off pretty regularly. So you'll be flying around, and the roll stick will be at 1500 should be where it's at as far as your milliseconds. That's how it's measured in microseconds. And it'll go from 1,000 to 2,000, as far as 1,000 being the lowest value and 2,000 being the highest value, 1,500 being the neutral value. 1,500, say if you let go of the stick and your quad should be flying straight, right? At 1,500, well, this thing will be slightly off. It'll jump up to like 1,520, so the quad will slightly roll to the right or the left, whichever way it's messed up. So that's kind of how the gimbals like die over time. Just dirt gets into the potentiometer, and it's kind of like a brushed motor almost. Like stuff will get in between the connection and cause it to be off slightly. So when you're dealing with something like a magnetic sensor, like a Hall effect sensor, the only real downside that you get is if you're in an area with a lot of metallic objects, like say you went to an abandoned iron factory like I recently did, and you get a lot of dust in your radio, it could potentially mess up the Hall effect gimbal sensors, just because it is a magnetic gimbal. And if you were to get dust in there, I'm almost positive that they're sealed. I'm not 100% sure, but anything can get in somewhere. Small dust can get in stuff. So just be aware if you go to like an abandoned iron factory, don't be throwing dust all over your radio.
See Freddy Krueger.
I'm sure it's going to do other things, just not to your Hall effect gimbals. It'll probably mess up any gimbal just because it's iron filings. But
has there been any talks about any weird quirks about the M9 gimbals?
I haven't heard any weird quirks about it.
All right.
I haven't heard any negative feedback.
That's a real curious question. I don't because I still haven't done the mods. I still haven't.
I can tell you one thing though, with the Hall gimbals, one of the main things I noticed is like I have never been able to fly as low and precise as I do now than I have with the Hall gimbals, just because like I could almost let go of my stick and it just stays locked in because it's not bouncing around anymore.
Yep.
Which is nice. You could really hold your lines and be a lot more accurate with your flying, so it's definitely like a big upgrade.
Yeah, I'd have to buy like 2 sets.
I think one thing that I do need to touch on that a lot of people don't necessarily know to do is your throttle gimbal. Everyone is always worried about that. Well, they don't even know really that there's ratcheting on most throttle gimbals from the factory. There's like this little tiny thing within the gimbal that causes it to like ratchet up, and it's like a feel thing, and that's usually made for fixed wing style flying. So if you have a ratchet, it's like fixed wing is going to be ratcheting up and ratcheting down. You're going to be locked at a position for a while. With a mini quad, you want it to be very, very adjustable in a quick manner. And if you have a ratchet on there, you can sometimes get locked into a position between ratchets or in a ratchet lock situation. I'm trying to think of like how to say that. So there's like gears, teeth, and you might be locked on one tooth, but you really need to be between the teeth, and you can't get it because it's just not as precise when you're ratcheting. So how you usually would get rid of the ratchet for flying a helicopter or flying a mini quad, and you can do that just by popping the back off the radio, and you can do one screw. You would adjust one screw and it takes off the ratchet, and then you adjust another screw and it brings down a piece of metal onto a piece of plastic that is smooth, and then it becomes like a tension on the stick instead of it just flopping around, and it no longer has the ratchet.
Yeah.
And I have been known to use organic material to lubricate this stuff, and I've tried butter, I've tried margarine, I've tried olive oil, I've tried all kinds of stuff, lithium grease, and I think personally olive oil is my favorite, or canola oil actually is what is on my radio right now.
My mind went totally south. I was like, oh shit, who's gonna jump in?
Organic
material. Hold on, wait. Give me 5 minutes. I got enough for all of us.
Oh yeah, freaking all day like this. Oh man, I can't even do
Fail.
it.
So so olive oil.
Yes.
What about electric, like a white
white lithium grease?
Yeah, would that work?
Yeah, I think that's what's recommended, but I just use organic materials just because I don't like touching grease.
Yeah,
I'd rather touch olive oil and stick it on there.
That's what I use, Ruben. The electrical white lithium stuff, just because I got it around at the shop, so it's like very accessible for me.
Okay.
I got that
butter is not at my shop.
But on hot days, you're like, fuck, it smells good in here. I got the sweetest
He'll be
smelling
eating his
remote.
toast and just buttering his radio.
All right, so let's do one more
All right.
because I think we're coming up on an hour, and this is a really good one because
All right.
I know a lot of people ask this on a regular basis, and it says, what goggles should I buy? I like the fact that the Sky Zone has a little picture-in-picture feature so that I can see what's happening around me. Is that useful? So he's basically asking, like, you know, what should he buy goggle-wise getting into the industry or getting into the hobby? And this is a huge thing, I think, that is very overlooked when it comes to flying FPV. Is, again, not only are your hands on the radio all the time, and your eyes are really what make FPV. Like, if you don't have a good set of goggles, you're not going to fly well FPV. And I can give you a great example of this. Not necessarily the dude didn't fly well, but there was a dude named Andrea that we met in Italy, and he actually didn't even have a set of goggles. He grabbed a freaking like 5-inch screen and then just like made a horse feeding trough, like the little bags that horses feed out of. It wasn't literally that, but he basically put the screen at the end of it, and it kind of looked like a miniature version of those head play goggles.
Okay.
But he had no what do they call that lens that like refracts something and makes it
it's
smaller.
like a magnification type of lens.
Yeah, he didn't have that. So he was basically just looking at a screen really close, like a 5-year-old kid playing video games 10 inches away from this TV. And he's like, dude, you should try my goggles and let me know how they are. And I put them on, and it was like completely, my brain melted because I couldn't tell what was happening. So, and he was used to it. He actually wanted to try my Fat Sharks. He's like, yo, man, can I try your Fat Sharks? I want to try to see like what the difference is, what the hype is. Like, why would you buy
And his
Fat
brain
Sharks?
melted.
Yeah, all
His
that
brain
that
melted.
EMF.
But it melted in a different way, though, because he was so used to flying his goggles. He's like, I don't know if I could get used to that. And I'm like, dude, you got to do it. You're going to be blind by the time you're 25 if you continue with this stuff. So,
Yeah. Well,
have
you guys been looking at those knockoff head plays? I mean, would that be a decent thing for him to get?
I personally think head play goggles are junk because they don't actually break up. Like, it's kind of like digital. They actually will go black if you start to lose signal. So if it loses signal to a certain point, it just goes black instead of going to a static screen. And they did an update for this to try to get rid of it, and they didn't actually do an update. They just changed the black screen to a static screen. So when you lose video to a certain extent, it just goes to a like generic static screen instead of actually being legitimate static.
Yeah, I haven't seen them. I've seen Alex IB Crazies and put that on, and that was different. But I know I haven't had that too much experience. I've had the Dominators I've had the Attitudes Dominator 2s, and I just
Those are all Fat Shark.
Yeah, they're all Fat Sharks.
I think it just depends on what you're going for. I do think with wings it might be beneficial depending on the type of flying you're doing. If you're doing really tight, precise wing flying, then I would think Dominators or any kind of Fat Shark goggle is going to do the best. But for like cruising around, if you want to just get a scenic view of something in a high quality resolution, then just go for like a big goggle. Because a lot of like latency isn't as important to you.
Yeah.
If you're flying a wing over like the ocean or over the desert or something, and you're just kind of scanning around flying like a bird, then 20, 30, 40 extra milliseconds isn't going to do that much for you, where it definitely matters when you're doing precise, tight proximity flying, like with a mini quad or with a tight, small wing.
Yeah.
And Fat Shark is going to be the only option to really give you that kind of tight proximity stuff.
Yeah.
But again, as in my buddy saying earlier that he wanted to try the Sky Zones. Have you ever seen the Sky Zones, Eric?
Yeah, I have seen the Sky Zones, and that's what Drew, I think, actually flies with.
Yep, he has them.
Is those, and there's a new one that's out too. I think they're called like the Anmue or something.
Avion or
something like that. They're gray looking, and it's pretty much like the Sky Zones. It's got a diversity built into them and everything and all that, and it's a little bit better entry level point to say like the Dominator HDs, because I think that's like what they're trying to compete with.
Yeah.
But It ain't no Dominator HD, I can tell you that.
Yeah, it's the Omway or Omway or something.
Omway,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, then it would boil down to like, because every eye is different, right? Like I got laser surgery on my eyes, like laser vision type shit, and like I had to use different goggles, and I had to add those little lens things. I mean, you have to get used to it, but a lot of people, their eyes are different. It might give them like a motion sickness, or so you have to like kind of test a couple pair and see what you're comfortable with. You know, it's kind of like dating. You gotta test a couple pair out, see what you're comfortable with.
Gotta put them pants on. But no, I definitely think that there are a couple options as far as things out there for goggles, but I would stick with the type of goggle that is more like along the form factor of a Fat Shark.
Yeah.
Mainly because it's really hard to pack a horse feeding trough in a backpack and take it with you. Where with the Fat Shark, it's very small, it's lightweight, it fits in a bag, it runs on a 2S battery, and it's not very like battery hungry. I mean, you're talking about these Omway goggles and the Sky Zones, and them having diversity built in, where like the Fat Sharks come with just a typical receiver on one side. Even if it comes with that, sometimes it doesn't, and you have to buy it extra. So you're looking at like $500 for a Dominator HD, and then you're looking at another $50 for a receiver. And if you wanted a LaForge V2 or something like that, which is what I'm running, then you're gonna have to pay like $100 for that, and then you got to install it, which means taking apart your brand new goggles. And if you're not very savvy with taking apart stuff like that, there can be some tiny ribbon cables in there that can be deceptive. And
I know about them ribbon cables, bro.
You actually have to like cut a hole in the goggles. Like if you want to mount it on the inside, you actually have to file a little hole into the side of your $500 goggles that you just bought. So, you know, it can be a little like disconcerting modifying your brand new $500 things that you just bought. But at the end of the day, I can tell you based off of just overall user experience that I prefer the way that I have done it. And it's probably just because it's the way that I've always known. It's Fat Shark. That's the only company that I've ever really liked and fell in love with as far as their optics and how the goggles form factor is, and everyone else that's come after them has just copied them in a crappier manner, essentially. And tried to make something cheaper than a Fat Shark. So
I agree with you 100%. I finally had my Dominator HD2s go out on me, and it's like those are like my babies in a way. Like that's how much like I love the Fat Shark goggles to where everyone's like, hey, you could borrow some of mine or whatever. I'm like, what do you got? And they're like, oh, I got these or whatever. And I was like, I just couldn't. I couldn't get myself to do anything because I'm like, no, I need these to work. So it was just a ribbon cable that just burnt out. I mean, I don't know how many hours I have in those goggles, like countless hours of just running that thing hot, bro. I run it hot.
And it's like 90 million degrees out in California right now.
Everything's on fire out here, and I finally burnt up one of the ribbons. I ended up actually hitting up Fat Shark, and I was like, the guy that does all the repairs for him is only like 30 minutes from my house, and I was like, hey dude, like, could you fix this or something? And he was like, yeah, just send it to me, I could totally fix it. But then I ended up finding a ribbon at like a random electronics store that worked in there, and I was like, boom, back in action. And then I just got a package with like 20 of them, so I'm good for like the next 8 years or something, or probably 40 years, I don't even know. But they're solid. Like, I mean, it's something to where like it's almost like buying like a good old machinery that just keeps on running,
like a bridge, like a Bridgeport.
Yeah, it's like a Bridgeport mill or something, you know? Like, yeah, you might have, over the years, you might have to, like, change a couple things up or whatever just to keep it running, but it just stays running. I mean, like, it's a well-oiled machine to where those other ones, I mean, I don't know, like, I could say that those new ones that I just saw, whatever it's called, the Amways, one feature I did like in those was that it has an OSD built into it. Not that it matters, like, say, for me, I don't really always care what channel I'm on because I usually fly by myself or something. I just, you know, I don't have any friends. So it has an OSD feature, which I think for a lot of guys that are doing the racing and things like that, that might be good because you can see what channel you're on. compared to everybody else, and someone throws out some random channel number.
I think the Sky Zone has that as well, and that's what Drew was talking about, because we were talking about this when we were on the road too. The Sky Zone has the same kind of thing that the LaForge has, where you can like scan channels and you can do a band scanner or whatever and find what channel you're on and stuff like that, but it's built into an OSD in the actual goggle instead of having to take the goggle off and look at the OLED screen on the outside.
Does it have the spectrum analyzer that the LaForge has?
I think it does, yeah,
okay.
in the Sky Zones at least. So, but the one thing that my buddy asked, the Pete dude, the newbie dude, he was like, so I really think it would be cool to be able to switch to that camera, because on the front of the Sky Zones, it's got that little camera.
It has the camera, so you could like see it coming in hot on your face.
Yeah, you could basically be flying FPV and then click a button and then be flying at line of sight, which again is not line of sight because you're looking through like a fishbowl. And I was like, Drew, have you ever used that feature? And he's like, hell no, I just pop the goggles up and like land at line of sight. And I think that's like it's a gimmicky feature. Like he has
like a little piece of electrical tape over it.
Yeah, because he thinks the government's spying on him or something.
Well, I mean, it goes back to personal preference. Like what's your budget going to allow you to get? Like on what my take on it, as I like, because I can put the 1.2 module in there, 2.4 module in there, 5.8, and I just know that's what I roll. Like 1.2 for long range, pop it in. Like I have a dedicated Fat Shark
laser BGC, like laser BGC three channel one.
I actually have that one. I bought the better one. I think it's the Fat Shark version. It's like the orange version, which is really clear. So I have those as backups, and so one of my Fat Sharks is 1.2, and the other one is for 5.8.
Yeah. I mean, I always look at things as like, just in general, when you go shopping or whatever, and you see those other goggles like the Sky Zones, all that stuff. They're close to 300 and some, $400 say after tax or something probably. At that point, you might as well
buy like a pair of Attitudes. Like,
you might as well just step up into something a little bit better that's going to last you longer over time. If things break, it could be fixed. Fat Shark's very good at fixing things. Like I said, I emailed them. They got back to me the next day, willing to fix it.
And they've had so many iterations to go through. I mean, we're talking
Absolutely.
they have a run of like 4 goggles that are on like the 5th generation right now. So. I mean, you went through, like, they had the Predators, and they had the Dominators, and they had the Dominator V2s, and they had the Dominator HDs, the Dominator HD V2s, the Dominator HD V3s, the Dominator V3s. They have Attitude all the way up to V4 now, and they have Predator, like, V8.
What?
They make cameras. They make all this stuff that, like, people don't even realize that they make anymore. They're partnered up with Immersion RC as a sister company, so you have all these receiving technology. You have Anthony Cake over at Immersion RC that's one of the, like, gnarliest electronics engineers that I've met personally. That's all about RF, knows his shit when it comes to RF stuff.
I think he's a Borg.
He's a what?
He's a Borg.
He's a Borg, yeah. He knows a lot about RF stuff, and all that stuff comes into play when you're talking about developing a product specifically for something like FPV. And a lot of these other people are just like, where's their credibility? Where's their background information, the knowledge that they gained? Are they just literally copying a Fat Shark goggle and changing the aesthetics of the outside? Like, how are the optics designed? You don't really know much of the stuff. I can say from experience that I've flown the Sky Zone goggles, and yeah, I mean, it felt like a Fat Shark, but it didn't feel like a Fat Shark at the same time. Like, it's the same concept, but it's not the same. So
yeah, I mean, that just comes down to like factories that are making the Fat Shark stuff in China.
And their quality control is pretty freaking gnarly. I don't know.
Their quality controls, yeah, it's good. And dude, do you ever even remember when they came out with that diversity and they did have a little issue with the quality control? They were so fast to be like, okay, just take it back and we'll replace you guys with like a legit one. Like,
yeah.
Do you think Sky Zone's going to do that with their goggles and be like, oh, it came messed up? No, it's going to. First of all, it's going to be very hard to contact the people from Sky Zone or whatever. It's probably one of those things where it's like, if you bought it from a dealer, you're going to have to contact that dealer, and hopefully they could contact their wholesaler or just give you a new one that they have in stock or whatever it may be. But to actually have a contact straight to, the manufacturer of those goggles, like you can with Fat Shark, you go on their website and just contact them. You don't get that. You don't get the same customer service.
All right. Well, what if they were starting out cheap and they had $100 to spend? Let's just say,
goggles?
Yeah, for goggles.
Save your money.
I think there's a quantum. Like, I think you could get into it for like $100. Like, you could get like a lens, like a monitor, and put some duct tape on it or something, and make like an FPV goggle setup to just kind of get the gist of it.
Yeah. You want to give them a taste.
I know, like, spending $400 or $500 on a set of goggles is a huge amount of money, and like, I get it. I get that it's a huge amount of money, but if you're serious about getting into FPV and you're psyched on the fact that you want to fly, again, I still say this, and I'm going to continue to say this: it's a cheap industry to get into in relation to a lot of other industries. So, but I was going to say, I got a faceplate the other day from Fat Shark, and they're getting away from that stupid foam that like deteriorates on your forehead after about 2 weeks.
Oh, good.
I got that.
I think
I got that
Ready-Made
leather
RC
Leather?
already has them up on their site, I think.
What?
Really? They got them already? The new faceplates?
Like the whole faceplate, like it clicks on with the whole thing, I think.
Still, I'm gonna have to say something, but you better call your boys over there and
have them send you one.
I'm just saying, I got 2 pairs here. I got 2 pairs.
So hold on. The one thing that I can say, like, so when I got it in the mail a couple days ago, and I was like, what is this? Like, I thought it was going to be something gnarly, and I opened it, and it was just a faceplate, and I was like, whatever. And I looked at the foam, and it was leather, and I was like, okay, like, leather could be good, but it kind of might get sticky on my face, and
it's like the leather underwear, the version 2 of the leather underwear.
Yeah,
like, remember the cotton ones?
That bondage action.
Remember they sent the underwear?
Yeah.
Did you guys ever get those?
I have the underwear. Yeah,
I got it too. With a big old shark on it.
Yep.
I just figured I'd throw that in there.
The one thing that made it like the selling point for me, when you put the goggles up on your forehead and you have 2 giant dents from those channels that funnel the air down to from the fan into the eye cups or whatever.
Yeah.
So they actually covered that now. So it's like super smooth in there. So when you put it up on your head, you don't feel those things digging into your forehead anymore. So that was like the huge. I immediately was like, clip that thing on there, and I flew it the other day, and it's dope. Works well. I don't have to put a piece of fuzzy Velcro up in there to try to keep those things from stabbing me in the face.
Yeah, that gets kind of annoying.
That is kind of a hack. If you guys don't want to buy this new faceplate and you want to hack it, just get a piece of fuzzy Velcro, cut it into like a weird mustache-looking shape, and stick it up in there, and it'll kind of negate you from getting those 2 dots in your head from where those little channel things are poking you.
Well, I'd be kind of curious, because even like like the headphones, it's like, I guess these are the Sony ones. I don't know, they're Sony something. They're the Bluetooth ones. But even after a while, like when you sweat around the ear cups, and it's like, I guess it's leather or pleather, but you could start to kind of see where like the sweat soaks in. I wonder if that would happen.
Kind of makes it porous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure over time it will, but the little fuzzy things that came with the Fat Shark goggles would like super deteriorate.
We like to call those Fat Shark pimples.
I mean, it'd be a nice little upgrade, something.
I don't know. I think
smooth.
the faceplate's only like $20 or something. So
yeah,
whatever. If you got $20 to blow, just bam.
Oh yeah,
throw it at somebody.
I think, but I think in conclusion is, definitely you get your money's worth with goggles in this hobby. Yeah,
goggles. Like I said, I think goggles and radio are something that you're investing in. Like the quadcopter, you could start out cheap and you could get by, but I would not suggest skimping on the goggles and the radio. And if you talk to any other industry, as far as like helicopters or fixed wing 3D aircraft, I mean, people are spending like I have a $1,600 radio, like I said, the Jetty, and like people spend money on radios, and they spend money on receivers, and they spend money on stuff that gets them, like chargers and batteries. Like, when I hear people complaining about $30 batteries, it's like, oh, okay, well, have you ever flown a helicopter? Because those batteries are $300 a piece, and they only last like 30-40 cycles, and if you crash a helicopter, that's a completely dead battery. You're not salvaging that whatsoever.
Nope.
So it's just all like subjective. You don't know, because RC in general, as far as RC aviation, is such FPV doesn't even give you a glimpse into what RC aviation is like as far as the funds. That's why I didn't get into it when I started out. I was like, FP aviation is so expensive, I'm not going to be able to afford to get into it. And then FPV came around, it was like, wow, this is really affordable. And then you have people complaining about how unaffordable it actually is, when in reality it's so much more affordable than it was as far as flying fixed wing or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get if you want to get the taste for it, it's accessible. It's not too bad, and anything else,
$100 Hue 7X and getting a simulator is the best way to get a taste.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. $100, nothing.
Yeah,
nothing.
Yeah, but you know what I have noticed too is, like, I think people get addicted with FPV, and then they just start buying stuff they don't even need. Buy the good stuff, stick with it. Quit buying all the other garbage out there just to go to the flying field and be like, hey, I got the newest best thing. And then you're just constantly learning. You're never going to get out of the learning stage. You're just, buy good stuff, stick with it, and then that's it. Yeah. Get good.
I'm going to throw Pete under the bus here, so my neighbor, again, the dude that asks all these questions, he's buying all this stuff right now. Like, he's trying to get into it. And luckily he lives next door to me, so I'm like, hey, whatever, I'll give you some ESCs, and I'll give you some motors, I'll give you whatever you need. But at the same time, he's like, oh no, I want to buy it, I want to spend the money, I want to support this hobby. I'm like, okay, cool.
Steele, so, everybody listening right now is like, oh my god, I wish I was Steele's neighbor.
This is what you're gonna hear.
And, I got boxes here, I'll give you whatever you need.
This is what you're gonna hear. But through the wall. Yeah. Steele, you up? Yup, Steele.
Come knocking at his door.
Yeah, so, but
I heard Steele's having a yard sale.
I need to. I got a bunch of shit I need to get rid of.
You hear the knock again? Okay, you all right over there? I hear heavy breathing. Just want to make sure you're safe.
No, but so I gave him a bunch of antennas, right? I gave him some, like, old Triumphs and stuff that I had. And he's like, no, I don't want to use right-hand circular polarized. I want to use left-hand circular polarized. And I'm like, why? He's like, because I watched a video on it, and it's supposed to help. You can run like 80 hertz apart, and you'll be fine. I'm like, I run 40 hertz apart with two right-hand circular polarized dudes right now. Why do you need left-hand? And
I run rubber duckies.
People get like super caught up on these little tiny things that will supposedly help them do something better than something else, and there's just little things that they spend money on, and at the end of the day, just stop spending money on little hypey things about left-hand CP antennas versus right-hand. You're not flying with enough people for it to matter.
Yep. I
fly with like 4 people at a time. We're all on right-hand. We all run channels that are 40 hertz apart, and we're fine. We never have a problem unless all 3 dudes are powered on and you're really far away.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the only time you're ever going to have a problem, and it's really just about frequency management and also knowing where you are in relation to someone that's powered on with a powerful transmitter right next to your receiver. So if you're rocking, like, getting into the hobby, you don't know many people that fly, you don't need to be worrying about right-hand, left-hand circular polarized shit. Just freaking get some right-hand circular polarized 5A, and why you would buy circular polarized versus a linear polarized is just you want to cut down on reflections, cut down on multipathing that happens inherently with 5.8 gigahertz in particular, more so than the lower frequencies like 2.4 and 1.3 and 900 megahertz. But
baby steps, guys.
We'll get into all that in another podcast. Yeah. We need to end this right now.
So, well, hopefully the listeners will be able to understand what we're talking about, because this is what happens when you get a group of guys. We can venture off into darkness quite easily.
Darkness. Darkness.
Yeah, no.
Darkness.
Unity.
But really, if you guys like what you guys are hearing, comment in one of the links. We have the Facebook page to go comment on, and if you have a question, Instagram, Steele's page, go check him, go bug him.
Yeah, post in the comments anywhere you find a comment, anything you see where you're like, I know about that guy's podcast, I'm gonna blow that shit up. Just go on there, and start talking about stuff.
Do that. Tell your friends. Hit the like, the subscribes. Make sure to comment on the podcast on iTunes. We're working on Stitcher, and leave it. Like I said before, leave a little comment. It's funny for us when we read it. And it's going to help us out. We're going to try to make the podcast better and better. So we appreciate it.
We're also going to have a section where you can put your social security number in, and we're going to sell it to someone in, somewhere in Southeast Asia.
You just wasted 4 minutes of my life.
Exactly.
Right.
All right, guys. You guys,
family. Tell your neighborhood Pete.
Tell Big Worm. Shoot, man. You guys good?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah,
all right,
that's good.
All right, guys.
These just keep getting better and better and better and better.
Boom! That's it for this week. Link up with us next week here on Failsafe Weekly Podcast, where our links are locked in. Like what you're hearing? Make sure to follow us on all the social platforms and subscribe. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the next location. Peace.